live. Just kidding. We never put a live episode out. That would actually be really bad, probably.
A live episode?
Yeah. I don't feel like it would end well, just for whatever reason.
We'd probably say some stuff we don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Edits are always fantastic.
CBS thinks Oklahoma State's going to be the 4 seed next year.
Dude, some of these top 25s, too early top 25s I've seen already are crazy. I saw a few with Bama at 1. I'm like, y'all gotta be smoking. Absolutely smoking. I'm going to need some of what they are. But we are back, and it was another eventful week in sports. The NFL playoffs are here. They're locked in. They're ready to go. I am excited to see some of these matchups. We had some very interesting things happen this weekend. Some that we're going to get into here very quickly, and Joe is going to be one of the happy people in today's mega moments. So for me, my mega moment is going to be it's going to be interesting because it's a mega and a mid moment. My mega moment is the Saints beating the dog shit out of the Falcons, but not because I wanted to get. It's tough. All right. I cannot stand the Aints. Nobody in Atlanta can. If you're a Falcons fan, Saints are your number one most hated enemy. But with that being said, I didn't think there was a chance going into that game that the Bucs lose to the Panthers. Right? There's no chance that the Bucs lose to the Panthers.
It was a close game, though. I'm not going to lie.
9-0.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he didn't fumble that ball in the end zone?
Who, Bryce?
No, they're DJ Chark.
Really?
You didn't see that?
Mm-mm.
Beginning of the game, the Panthers would have went up 7-0. Like 20-yard pass to DJ Chark, and he breaks open. It was like a 50, 60-yard touchdown. And somebody sprints across, and he's diving for the goal line, and dude punches it out, and they recovered in the end. Yep, touchback.
Pro Bowl snub.
Dude.
Antoine Winfield forced the fumble.
Panthers didn't have a single lead in the fourth quarter all year. They're the only team in NFL history to never.
Oh yeah, because they beat us on a
Yeah.
game on a like time expiring field goal.
Yeah, they never
That's
had a lead in the
ridiculous.
entire fourth.
Bryce Young and Trevor Lawrence are the two quarterbacks taken first overall with the most losses in the rookie year. They both lost 14 games.
Oh, that is
unfortunate.
That is tough. But that game is a mega moment to me because I didn't think the Bucs were going to lose to the Panthers. I didn't think there was a chance. So in my mind, there was no reason to win that game. There's no reason to win that game because you would have got smacked by whoever you played first anyways. No reason to win that game. You need a better draft pick. You need an edge rusher, and we'll get to that later. But I did enjoy that if we were going to get beat, they went ahead and kicked our ass because it put the final nail in the coffin, and Arthur Smith is gone. So Arthur Smith being gone and a new era of coaching in Atlanta is my mega moment of the week. But you kind of have to group the Saints in there with it because without the Saints, I might have another 7-10 season that I got to watch next year. So
Shout out to Mr. Jabu Wins for that sneaky final play.
Jabu.
Famo Jamo.
That feels racist.
Yeah.
Jabu feels racist.
It's
I
just
didn't come up with it.
Is that actually one of his nicknames?
Yeah.
That's his Instagram name.
Is it really?
Jabu Wins.
Feels like there's got to be something wrong with that.
I didn't know. I've never heard that. Anyways, that's my mega moment. Lance, what do you got?
My mega moment is not based on any performance that we just saw or any one specific team. The NFL script writers came out in full force this season and gave us some of the best playoff matchups we could have gotten. Joe Flacco against C.J. Stroud, two of the best stories of the season this year. Tyreek going back to Arrowhead, try and get a win. The Steelers and Bills, I mean, there's not really much there.
We got beat by 30 last time we played.
So there's that one. McCarthy going back to coach against his old team, and probably the most beneficial trade for each side in NFL history, this Rams and Lions. Stafford going back to Detroit, Goff facing his old team. We have 4 absolute cinema games in just the first round of the NFL playoffs, and the script writers get my mega moment because they went in. They went in their bag to get these playoff games.
They went in hard.
I don't ever like. I've never liked that. By the way,
What?
the hard. I've never enjoyed it. I probably won't ever enjoy it.
They did good.
He likes it. He likes it soft, I guess.
I guess so. Jack, what do you got?
Fuck me, man.
No. Anyway, my mega moment is
You can if it's soft.
that's how he likes it.
But hey, nah, I don't
There's
like
no
it.
defense. I don't know what
Really?
I don't know.
You just gotta
would
sit-
rather-
you
would
just gotta
rather-
sit
but
there and take
y'all
it.
Just, y'all just said you like it hard more than you like it soft, though.
I didn't say that. We're
I
just
know
saying the
that's what you
script.
said. If
We
you-
said the script writers went hard to get these games,
And then you said you
Or
didn't
you
like it
said
hard.
you
You
don't
liked
like
it
it hard.
soft. So
and then
And
you
then,
said
but
fuck
y'all
me.
are defending the hard side. Would
I
you
have
rather
no.
get?
I have no horse
Hey,
in the race.
stay hard, man.
Shout out Goggins.
Anyway,
Jack, burn the boats. Tell us what. Tell us what your mega moment is.
speaking of carrying the boats, you know who did it? Deontay Hardy. Deontay Hardy carried the boats for the Bills in the biggest moment of his life.
Yeah.
Returning a punt return for 96 yards for a touchdown to start the fourth quarter. Playoff spot on the line. In essence, he put the Bills in the playoffs. He put the Bills on his back and carried them to the playoffs. And the Bills' offense really had nothing going. They had 7 points entering this play. Their red zone efficiency was terrible. I think Josh Allen threw 2 red zone interceptions.
And they got lucky on that one.
Yeah,
Was
the
it
on
dinked
that
off
touchdown?
helmet.
Was
Yeah.
it 2? He threw 2 interceptions.
I
One
think
was
they're
red
2
zone.
end zone interceptions.
They were both in the end zone.
Were they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I know
Eli
the
Apple
first
took
one was.
one out like a dumbass.
I didn't know.
and took it out
Oh
for 2
yeah,
yards.
he did get that ball all the way
And then
down
he
to the
just
end zone.
chucked
on
that one
just
up on fourth
off,
down.
off his back foot. Yeah. Okay.
But when it mattered most, Deontay Hardy came up big. Special teams made a play. The best teams have great special teams, and he came up big and put the Bills in the playoffs. So now they have an
Stormed
opportunity.
all the way back.
Now they have
to
an
win the AFC
opportunity
East.
to make some noise in the playoffs after a shaky start.
I think they will, but we'll get to that later. Joe, what is your mega moment?
Before my mega moment, I just want to give a special shout out to my boy, should have been a Steeler, Mr. Baker Mayfield, clinching the NFC South by beating the team that cut him last year, who would be better again if they still had him. But moving on, my mega moment, of course, is the only team that this pod is a fan of that is in the playoffs, and I got a lot of shit for it.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
A
now.
lot of shit for it. Kenny Pickett might not have hit his 3,500 yards.
You did not.
I might have
Didn't
got my
even come
50
close.
bucks.
I'm gonna
But-
need to see that 50 exchanged on an episode.
But we won. Mason Rudolph, undefeated this season as a starter. He's the second coming of TB12, man. It's happening, man.
This
Kenny
is why people
Pickett-
don't take us seriously.
Kenny Pickett
This is why people don't take us seriously.
Kenny Pickett had to come in to be his Drew Bledsoe. And now Mason Rudolph's off in the running. He had 152 yards. It was rainy, though. It was rainy. Najee Harris.
he had a JJ McCarthy game.
Najee Harris had 29 carries, 112 yards, a touchdown, 3 straight 1,000-yard rushing seasons. Deontay Johnson had a nice little deep slant he took for a touchdown, if you didn't see that one.
I didn't.
Hey, in Tom Brady's first ever start, he had 168 yards. So
See what I'm saying? The numbers don't lie.
he then followed it up with a game of 86 yards.
Sounds like the Steelers.
Those are some Kenny Pickett numbers. And if you want a free bet, you can tail me $10 to an 1,800 Mason Rudolph Super Bowl MVP.
It's ridiculous. That's the most absurd thing I've heard all year.
That's what they said about Nick Foles.
That man.
I suppose
Who
that
has
is
a better
true.
chance of winning Super Bowl MVP? Him or Kadarius Toney? I feel like they're like,
Probably Mason Rudolph.
really? You don't
Yeah.
think
Well,
if the
because-
Chiefs win and he has like a 200-yard game?
Yeah, but I think the
Travis
likelihood of
Kelce's
that
higher
is.
than
I
him.
think the likelihood of that is lower than Mason Rudolph making it to the Super Bowl.
Well,
Kadarius Toney, 200-yard game?
if he has a 200-yard game, they're just going to give it to Mahomes for
Mahomes,
throwing
yeah.
all those yards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no. There's
If
no
the
way-
Steelers
there's
make
no way.
if the Steelers make the Super Bowl, it's going to be because of TJ Watt, right?
No.
no, because
No.
he's,
He's out-
not,
he's
he's
out
not
for
playing
the
in the
first
wild
game.
card.
He's out for the first game.
Oh, if they win, he makes.
Yeah, if they win the
He'll
if they win the
probably play.
divisional and they win the
Yeah, I mean, I
conference
guess.
and they win the Super
I do
Bowl.
want to give a quick honorable mention to the
CJ.
CJ. You got to
Yeah.
shout out CJ, man. He's now like third all time in passing yards by a rookie. Finished with 4,100 yards this year, 23 TDs, only 5 picks.
3 of them came in the same game.
3 of them came in the same game. That is a very efficient season. And how many games did he play this year?
Also, honorable
missed 2.
mention to
Was it only 2?
Puka Nakua
breaking the rookie
for
receiving
breaking
record.
2 records.
Yeah, he played. So that was in 15 games.
Yeah. You know what's an interesting statistic is that in all of the records in which you catch a football, do you know where I'm going?
Yeah.
In all the records in which you catch a football, you know who the quarterback was?
Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford. Johnson for the receiving yards, Cup for the receiving yard, or what was this?
Cup
Cup
for
for the
Catches.
yards
He's
and catches.
catches.
Calvin Johnson has something, and then Puka in the rookie receiving yards.
Kind of crazy.
Who's the real GOAT?
MVP.
It's Matthew Stafford.
Okay. Literally that whole conversation that just occurred right here was exactly why people don't take it seriously.
What? MVP?
The next
he should
coming
be
of
in conversation.
TB12 and Mason Rudolph, and then
He
lean
should
into-
be an MVP conversation.
He's better than Dak. And Dak's in the MVP conversation.
you talking about CJ?
No.
Matthew
yeah,
Stafford.
but Matthew Stafford.
Oh, you were talking about Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got a little confused. I think we got a little off track there. I don't know where I ended up in that conversation. I thought we were still talking about
Lamar Jackson is minus 20,000
CJ.
to win
TJ Watt?
MVP on.
No, CJ
Oh.
Stroud.
Man, he acrylic or something.
He's minus 20,000 to win on FanDuel.
Lamar.
To win MVP.
Yeah.
If you look at the stats though, like
Don't say that to the fanboys.
I don't.
You can look at the
won't
stats for
want that.
DPOY too. That don't matter.
I guess it really is just about the best team.
Because they hold the team. No, they hold the team again. Like, yeah, I'm not going to get into that yet.
Mid moments. There's always, with the good, there is always the bad, and we have to touch on the bad. So, oh man, there's a couple ways I could go this week. You know what? Today, I am not going to do my mid moment first. I'm going to let somebody else go first. I want to see. I want to see where some of these go before I pick between a couple that I have.
Well, if you're making me go first, I'm doing the Titans and the firing of Mike Vrabel.
Made no sense.
Yeah.
The only, other than Will Levis's potential, you're getting rid of the only good thing in that organization. D-Hop is old. Derrick Henry's gone. I can't.
Offensive line is trash.
They already gave away A.J. Brown for a bag of chips.
The only defensive player they have that I can name is LSU legend Christian Fulton.
Traded their best defensive player, Kevin Byard, for another bag of chips.
Bag of Fritos.
They got 2 bags of
Both to the
Lay's.
Eagles.
Yeah, they got 2 bags of Lay's from the Eagles for A.J. Brown
And who are you
Kevin
gonna get? Who are you gonna get that is gonna turn that franchise around better than Vrabel?
Jim Harbaugh.
Bill Belichick.
Bring Arthur Smith back. Good luck. That is my mid moment of the week because that was acoustic.
acrylic. It's acrylic.
It's either it's
it's
normally
acoustic.
acoustic. I just said acrylic because nobody says it yet. I'm gonna make it a trend.
I'll start using it. All right, Jack.
My mid moment is viewers of the national championship game. As an avid college football fan and a viewer of said national championship game, I wanted to stab my eyes with forks. I couldn't stand watching. I was actually like angry watching this football game. I didn't enjoy it. I wasn't. Yes, Georgia wasn't playing, so it was a little bit
It's already it
frustrating.
already starts at a lower.
And it's also because, like, I think a lot of Georgia fans and even fans of some other teams thought this is like, I'm watching this game. Georgia would have killed this team. Like I'm not saying that actually would have happened, but that's what was going through my head. I'm like, Georgia would have beat Michigan. Georgia would have killed Washington. Like, that's what was going through my head. So that also added to the frustration. But it was a game full of mistakes. It wasn't a game of Harbaugh out-coaching DeBoer. It wasn't a game of out-scheming the other coordinators. It was a game of missed tackles and bad decisions. It was not fun to watch. Donovan Edwards, 2 rushing touchdowns, like 40-yard rushing touchdowns.
The one was fine. The second one, when he ran right into the middle,
And
just
then-
behind his offensive lineman, and is just kind of like running in place behind him.
Just a defensive
Nobody can get him,
collapse.
and then he just backs up, turns a little bit.
And there's a
And
hole
takes
the
off
size of a
running.
Mack truck.
At that
So-
point, I was like, this is going to be a bad game.
It was very frustrating to watch. There were a ton of missed tackles, just all over the field.
It was just an ugly game.
Michael Penix made some bad decisions, like that throwaway on the first play of the second half was terrible.
all night.
He missed Odunze on that 4th down for a wide open touchdown, and then the most crucial fourth down of the game, late in the game, where you're still trying to give your team a chance, Odunze is wide open on the left side of the field, and he throws it into triple coverage to McClellan.
Yeah, I mean, the reason that Penix looks so bad was because he has this weird thing where he has to tilt his shoulder before he I guess it's left side. So he has to tilt his shoulder before he makes a throw. That's how he gets all his oomph on the football. Like, that's how he gets his power.
Momentum, yeah.
And Michigan their pass rush was significantly better than Texas's and probably better than anyone they faced all year. And he didn't have time to get that shoulder throw or the shoulder tilt. So all he was doing was throwing almost flat-footed, and he missed everyone high.
He looked like Cam Newton.
Yeah, he missed everyone high because of his lack of ability to get through his throwing motion. It looked like Washington wasn't as prepared as they should have been, in Michigan.
Just kind of came into the game like
they looked comfortable. They played too high safety the entire game, and really never they trusted their guys to just get it done, and they never really had to get out of it, and they were never uncomfortable.
But the problem with that was, like, about watching that made me so mad was there were times where Washington had opportunities in that game, and they could have forced Michigan to start kind of changing up their defensive scheme.
They just couldn't execute.
They just couldn't execute. They missed on so many plays. And then to watch, those 2 rushing touchdowns, the one I'm okay with. The second one, when you run into your lineman like that.
Well, the first one, there was a horrible missed tackle. Like, it was a whiff of a tackle.
Yeah, but watching a guy run into the back of his lineman,
and then
that was tough to watch. And then Washington's defense starts playing, but after that, nobody ever really felt like they were dominating that game. Like, Michigan, their pass offense is terrible. Like, J.J. McCarthy, if the game came down to that quarterback versus quarterback, I thought Washington had the edge and Washington could have won. But it was so, I agree with you in the fact that it was so boring to watch neither team be, like, truly dominant after the 3 big runs in the first quarter. All in the first quarter. Michigan didn't have any, like, huge explosive plays till the fourth quarter when you kind of just felt like Washington was already
Washington didn't have a play of over 20 yards until the end of the fourth quarter.
They kept beating themselves. It was so irritating. False starts, killing drives. The hold call that brought that Odunze catch all the way back.
It was so weird because they were letting the holds go, which is what I think they should be doing. They were letting the holds go, and I don't know why you throw the flag on that one. It was a hold, but I don't know why you let them hold all game and then that one you decide to throw the flag on. But I mean, since this is the topic, I think the reason that we think this was so boring is because I think this is almost how games are going to look going forward for college football, more mistake driven, because it is college athletics. But with NIL, teams aren't going to have the capital and the space to retain talent like they did 10 years ago. Like, if you had like 5 stars come in, they would sit on the bench for 2 years and that would be fine. That's just how it was. But now, because of NIL and the transfer portal, you just can't retain talent.
You also pointed out something good. You can't retain talent. What else does talent not have to do anymore?
They don't have to work for the job.
They don't have to compete. That's the problem. Iron sharpens iron. Iron sharpens iron in sports, right? You need the reps. And if you want to be the best, you need the reps against the best. You used to have guys, like you said, 5 stars on teams, right? On the good teams. And they were constantly practicing and getting reps in against each other. And some of them were competing for each other's jobs. That makes people better. When every time something doesn't go your way or you don't get the playing time you want or you make a big mistake in a big game and you're like, oh, man, like, you know, I really fucked up in the big moments this year. I might not get some playing time here next year. Cool. I can disappear. I can go somewhere else who is going to start me because of how talented I am.
And they're going to pay me.
And they're going to pay me because of how talented I am and my name. And I don't have to work hard for it.
Yeah.
I don't have to get better. I can use my God-given ability that not a lot of people are given. And I can just walk away and go somewhere else. And I don't have to compete. I just show up. They paid me to show up. Now I'm going to play. Yeah. I didn't have to work for my job. It's a little...
It's disheartening to watch as a college football fan. And I think we're just going to see teams show up with less depth in games like this. And you're going to see things like this where there are missed tackles and there's a lot because you just don't have the talent.
Yeah,
that
like
you did
I
anymore.
thought this game had the potential to be like a 2005, the 2004-2005 national championship. Maybe not that high scoring, but you had a great running team with Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards,
which they showed up,
reminiscent of the USC team, and I thought you had an explosive quarterback in Michael Penix that was going to be able to get the ball downfield. And I thought a really good offense versus a really good defense. And then Washington's defense showed up in that game after the first 2 drives. They showed up until the game just felt out of reach.
And
but you had those.
Just looked terrible.
The offense was terrible, and it was very disappointing because I'm upset that Georgia's not in it, but I'm still gonna watch it. Like, I thought that matchup had the ability to be very good, and I completely disappointed from everybody involved.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I was just disappointed in the game. It wasn't fun for me to watch.
If Michigan was playing their best football,
I left with 4 minutes left in the game. I stopped watching it. I turned it off.
If Michigan would have played their best football the way Washington played the other night, they would have beat them by 35, 40.
If Michigan,
so that was even. It was almost like I would have rather seen a Georgia game from last year, where the dominant team shows up and Michigan beats the shit out of them, and you're like, and they play a perfect game top to bottom, and you're like, okay, I'm fine with that because Michigan was the best team.
Yeah, they just looked like a sloppy team that beat another sloppy team.
They didn't give me that.
Yeah,
that vibe. I didn't get that from watching the game.
Yeah, so
that's
my mid moment is viewers of the national championship and the future of college football in terms of talent pool and talented national championship games. You're just going to see teams with less depth, which just the way it's going. So we can't say teams are worse. Like, we can't say this team doesn't deserve to be there because they didn't play as well, but it's just going to be worse teams at the top. It's just how it's going to go.
It's going to be interesting. Joe, what do you got?
My mid moment of the week was a mega moment for me, but it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Season on the line. You got to beat the shitty Titans. That was your mid moment, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Yeah. That's why I should have gone first. I don't know why I changed it up on myself. Go ahead.
You got to beat the shitty ass Titans, who I guess this is Vrabel's last middle finger to the AFC South, I guess. But you lose, and you let my Steelers that you humiliated and stole their terrible towels and cursed yourself for the rest of the season. You let us sneak in and take your playoff spot, and I'm very grateful for it. But it's not just this game. You've lost 5 of your last 6 games. Trevor Lawrence looks like ass water. Better get the Drano.
Ass white.
The only team you beat in the last 6 games is the fucking Carolina Panthers.
Not great.
1-5 in their last 6.
So they didn't deserve to be in the playoffs. Obviously, I'm glad they're not in there, and I think you need to do some serious soul searching. You would have been better if you would have kept Gardner Minshew. Just saying. Just saying. Gardner Minshew was that close to he was closer to you to the playoffs than you guys were.
It's true.
With a worse team.
Yeah. That's my mid moment. Thank you, Jacksonville, and thank you, Trevor Lawrence.
All right, Zach, what do you got?
All right, so I had to pivot. Right? That's what good players do. They pivot. So I'm gonna pivot. Mine is gonna be I'm going to go back. I'm going to circle back to something really quick. My mid-moment this week is the Denver Broncos organization. You sit Russ, right? You're like, we are not going to pay you if you get hurt. So we're just going to sit you, right? You actually were one of the only bright spots on our team this year. Even though your coach hated you, literally hated you, and we're going to sit you so that we don't risk any chance of you getting injured and us having to pay you, right? Because we're going to cut you, is what they've told him. Then they sit him. They realize, Trevor Siemian?
Jared Stidham.
Jared Stidham is ass. You look at the draft and you go, oh, we're picking 10th or 11th, 12th. Who the hell are we going to draft for a quarterback? No one. And then you go and look at the free agent market and you're like, there's Kirk Cousins, there's Baker Mayfield, and then there's Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
Kyle Allen.
Kenny Pickett.
How can he pick it? You look at the free agent market.
Desmond Ridder.
Desmond Shitter. You look at the free agent market and you're like, damn, there's nobody there. Nobody.
Yeah.
And so then you circle all the way back once you realize nobody wants that Russ contract. Nobody's trading for it. There's nobody in free agency. There's nobody to draft where you're at. And you traded for a head coach because you were apparently in win now mode with Russell Wilson, who you paid a shit ton of money. So you realize you fucked yourself. So you turn around and you try to unbang yourself by going, "Hey Russ, look, I'm really sorry. Look, listen, we all make bad decisions, okay? Some of us make them more than others, but we're sorry. There's still a chance that, if you want to, maybe if we want to, maybe we restructure a little bit. You come and play quarterback for us next year. I mean, why not?" It's a terrible look for an organization. It's really bad. It's just absolute. The way they have mishandled the situation is very bad. Very bad on all sides, except for Russ. He handled it very well. I will give him props. He handled it with professionalism, and he was very cordial about it.
He didn't go make a TikTok about it.
And now they're like, you know what? We might need you back because we're going to be screwed. We're going to have all this dead cap money, so we can't sign any of the free agents. And there's going to be nobody for us to draft at 12. So don't leave yet. Stay in Denver. We'll get you a hotel room if you already sold the house. Give us a few weeks to figure this out. It's just ridiculous. So the Denver Broncos mishandling of the entire Russell Wilson situation is going to be my mid-moment of the week.
I mean, what can you really expect from the bounty hunter himself? Dude's a bum. He rode the coattails with Drew Brees. That's the only reason he got a Super Bowl.
And John Elway.
Is he still their GM?
I think so.
Yeah, he is.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
He did one good thing. He got Peyton Manning to come to Denver.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then he-
I was
And then he
gonna ask
drafted Paxton Lynch.
I was going to ask a trivia question about this, but I didn't get a chance to yet. Can you name not you, you know it. Can you name the only Broncos drafted quarterback that's won them a playoff game?
Brock Osweiler?
Nope.
Really?
Won them a playoff game.
There's only one.
Tim Tebow.
Yeah, that's right.
Who was it against? Who was it against?
Fuck you.
Didn't that game end like 10-7?
No.
No, it was the
It was like-
overtime dot, the first play of overtime.
Yeah,
Which
to
one was the
Demaryius
low-scoring
Thomas.
Broncos game?
You know, the Titans tried to trade Vrabel too.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
trying
they
to-
were shopping him and nobody wanted to trade for him.
It's not that common to trade for coaches, though.
It isn't because
I guess
if a team wants to trade their coach, they're gonna get rid of him regardless. And if he
Yeah.
gets fired,
unless
you
like a
can just
Sean
go
Payton
get-
situation.
yeah. But if he's getting fired like this, he can just go somewhere else and sign a contract with that team. So why would you give up something other than just money to that coach? That doesn't make any sense to me. This is an interesting headline real quick I just saw on ESPN. This NFL regular season had the most viewers since the 2015 NFL regular season, which I find very interesting considering all all of the injuries this year.
Yeah.
Well, the injuries also made the league more competitive for longer
Yeah, there was.
in,
I think
in the
there was,
season.
I think there was more teams at the end of the season that were still in contention than the past like 5 or 6 seasons.
Gave
Right.
people an actual reason to watch Week 18 games.
And people are
Yeah.
finally getting over the whole, FU they gave us with I'm not going to get into that. The kneeling.
Oh, God.
Yeah, let's not.
We'll stay away from that.
Yeah, we will get away from that. I zoned out for a second. I just got
The game I was thinking of was the 2009 Broncos-Bengals game in which a receiver caught a tipped pass with like 7 seconds on the clock and ran 87 yards to the house for the Broncos. Can you name that receiver? Very famous playoff. If you only know it if you watched the play. Like if you have watched the play before, you've probably seen it.
Bengals fans got to know it, right?
Is it Brandon Lloyd?
No, but it's- first name's right.
Is it
Brandon
Brandon
Marsh?
Marshall?
No,
Is it Brandon Smith?
no, it's Brandon Stokely.
Fuck.
Do you know?
Oh, that was the
I've
next
heard-
name that I
I've-
was about to say.
I've heard
I was
it
about. I was
before.
about to say Stokely.
Right.
yeah, that's what was coming.
It's
And
a crazy. Look at this. 6-7 with 30 seconds left in the game. Get out of here. Sorry.
6-7.
Yeah, 30 seconds left in the game. This is the low scoring game I was referring
Don't turn
to.
the sound on.
I'm not. But it was like this crazy tip,
Damn.
catch, Gone.
Oh, he's
80
a white too.
Yeah, white boy. 87 yards to the house, touchdown, win the playoff game, 2009.
I was heartbroken.
Damn. Yeah, I'm sure you were.
I was
You were,
heartbroken.
you were 6.
He didn't even he didn't even know who the Cincinnati Bengals were then. He was
I
like that
I was a big Brandon Stokely fan then.
were you?
No.
Who was quarterback for both teams in that game?
Probably Kyle Bowler or
Cow.
Dang, who was it? It wouldn't have been Plummer. Plummer wasn't still there. The Bengals. Oh God, 2009 was post Palmer.
Boomer Esiason.
Not him.
I got a couple questions for the teams going into the playoffs this week. I got 2 very specific ones that I want to talk about, and we'll kind of be the same question, but we'll break it up. First one, is Mike McCarthy's job on the line with an early playoff exit?
Yeah.
A fir-
If they lose in the first round,
a
yeah.
f-
He's
if they-
gone.
they
Yes,
should-
if they lose in the first round, yes.
If they don't make the NFC Championship, is Mike McCarthy's job on the line?
No.
If they win and then lose to like the Eagles, they're probably still
You think so?
for at least a year.
I don't know. I feel like Jerry Jones is very impatient. He's only a couple
Who are they
steps
gonna go
away
get,
from
though?
Yeah, but
death's
who are they
door.
going to get?
He wants a Super Bowl.
He wants a super. It doesn't matter who he thinks he can get.
Belichick.
He'll make himself head coach.
He might.
Dak, coach the team. You got it. Let
When
Dak
is
do
the
it.
last time they went to the NFC Championship game?
1995 would be my best guess.
I think that's actually right. It's either 95 or like 92.
Let's see. I guess it was the 2015-2016 or the 95-96 NFL
Okay.
season because the game was played in January of
Who'd they play?
1996.
Oh, the Niners?
They played the Packers. The Cowboys led 24-17 at halftime, but a Packers field goal and a Favre touchdown pass to Robert Brooks put Green Bay ahead 27-24.
They won.
But Aikman and the Cowboys
Oh.
ripped off a 14-play, 90-yard drive for a touchdown.
Did they win the Super Bowl that year?
Let's see. I don't know when the last time they've won.
It says 49ers won in 95.
That's probably 94,
No.
95 season.
Yeah.
Dallas defeated Pittsburgh on January 28th, 1996
Damn, that's tough.
for
Poverty.
their last.
And guess what? They've never.
Damn,
gone
they
back.
won 3 Super Bowls in the 90s, though.
Yeah.
I always forget they were good then because they haven't been good in
27-17.
so long. Haven't been good in so long. It's kind of funny to me, honestly. I guess it shouldn't be, but
Oh, I love it.
it kind of cracks me up. I've always been a Cowboys hater. Always.
Let's see.
That is
Oh,
not America's team, by the way. I feel like that's complete bullshit.
Yeah, it is. I still think they're America's team because if you look at, if you bring somebody into the United States who's almost never
you mean
watched
in
football,
the sense of like they can name them, like they're
well,
the most
it's America's
well-rec-
team because it's the most recognized team in America, so it's
Most
America's
valuable
team.
team.
And you're like, who name a football team? They're like, oh, the Cowboys, or it's probably the Cowboys, the Patriots, or the Niners. And most likely they're going to say the Cowboys or the Patriots.
Or the team with the most Super Bowl wins of all time. Maybe that one.
I don't think so. Not
they
now,
would-
maybe
honestly, the
20 years
Patriots
ago.
makes a lot more
Just
sense
'cause
to
they
be
don't like
America's
us.
team. The Patriots makes the most sense to be America's team. They're Patriots. Like their mascot
And they're
is
red, white, and blue.
and they're red, white, and blue. Like
And they're
That's
run
what-
by a
that's-
corrupt old white dude.
yeah, there you go.
So are the Cowboys.
Yeah. I mean, so it's
Cowboys
pretty
are
much
a
every
star.
NFL franchise. Exhibit A, Dan Snyder.
He's not old though.
It's just
Yeah.
He's
corrupt.
probably old.
He's got to
In
be
relation to Robert Kraft.
How old is Kraft? No, I wanna
Kraft
know
is
that.
like 80.
84, I bet you.
I'm gonna say 80,
He will never die.
81.
Everybody put in a guess.
81.
84.
78.
All right, I'm gonna say 76.
Damn, 84.
He is 82. Holy
Real
shit!
close.
Yeah.
They won't
means-
even
that
let
means
people that
Belichick
don't
was
drive
only-
a car. Why would you have one?
I think
Hey, Jerry Jones. Let's do Jerry
oh
Jones
god,
too.
88.
84.
90.
I'm gonna-
90.
I'm gonna split. I'm gonna go 83. He's 81.
Damn, he's younger than Kraft.
Yeah.
He looks like dust. Anyway, speaking of driver's license, I think when you turn 70, you should have to pass another driver's test. I can't stand. I cannot stand seeing. Like my grandma just turned 88 the other day.
What are we talking about, dude?
She should like. I love her. Shout out Nana. Can't drive. There's no way she should be allowed to drive.
I think that's like women in general, though. They just have to take it again.
I just thought of a horrible idea. I am not going to say it on
No,
air.
you probably should.
I will say it when the episode is over.
I think you should have to pass another driver's test when you turn 70 years old.
I said 65.
Well, my dad's 66 and he's a very capable driver.
If you can draw Social Security, you should have to take it.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
That's what I'm saying.
If you get the senior
baby.
citizens discount at a movie theater, go take the test again.
if you can sign up for AARP, you need to take another.
I know
driver's
damn
test.
well my grandma is backing the fuck into every cone that she sees in that driver's test. There is no way she can parallel park still.
I couldn't either, and the lady still passed me. Like,
Go take the test again.
No, she gave me a second chance.
Oh, you got lucky.
Dude, I really messed up the first time. I had never tried to parallel park before my driver's test. It was it was really bad, and she felt so bad that she like told me to pull out. And then she instructed me
Oh God.
into the spot and still gave me like at least half credit for it.
I was pissed.
Shout out her.
I wanted 100 on that test so bad. Like there was for some reason I just
Really?
I got
I
a
didn't
99 and it was because my front tires were over the white line at a stoplight. They were like on the white line at a stoplight.
Jack was pissed.
I was hot. I got a 99. I was pissed.
Back to football.
Yes. Sorry.
Nick Sirianni, is his job the same? We're looking at his job the same.
Yes.
If he does not make
Yeah.
the NFC Championship this
Well,
year.
he's done more with the.
You're coming off a Super Bowl appearance. And you lose 5 of your last 6. Like
Your team honestly got a little better.
No.
No?
They lost both coordinators.
Lost both coordinators.
Oh, I
lost
guess
CJ.
in the
lost.
Yeah.
Who else did they?
They got a
lose?
better
They
running back.
re-signed-
They lost
re-signed it.
Javon Hargrave, right?
Yeah.
No, I guess that's fair.
Traded what's his name to the Falcons? Kenneth Street.
Contavious Street.
They did get Byard.
Got
though.
hurt. They did get Byard. They got Swift. They got a top 2 rookie defender.
Yeah, I don't think he's in danger though. Coming off a Super Bowl appearance, lost 5 of the last 6. Like still made the playoffs.
I think in today's NFL, with how much everybody just wants to like win now, I wouldn't be surprised.
If he got fired,
I was surprised Variable got fired.
Yeah, we just watched Vrabel get. I mean, I know.
they went
Chill out. I
They went 5 and
understand.
12.
But that team was terrible.
I think if there's like
the
some,
roster construction was.
if there's
bad.
some like behind the scenes collusion, and say they like, because they got a good offense when everybody's healthy. The problem's really the defense.
Yeah,
So-
the defense was the problem.
If you could bring in a defensive mastermind, and you know for a fact, like let's say they lose to the Bucks, you know for a fact this guy will come in there, fix your defense, and he's gonna go there. If you get rid of Sirianni, I think they might bring in Belichick.
I was gonna.
You could put a headset on a brick, and it would coach defense better than Matt Patricia.
It's true.
Yeah, that move
Patricia
made no
sucks.
sense to me. That makes no sense to me. All right, of the teams who currently do not have a head coach, where do you kind of see this carousel going? Like, where do
What
you?
do you mean? Like,
where
are
do
you
you-
asking where the best destinations are? Or are
I
you
guess
asking,
you
like,
could say
who's
best
gonna hire who?
destinations, or
The
where
Chargers
you think
is the best destination.
for anybody. I
The
do
Chargers
agree.
is probably the best. The Commanders is probably close.
The
Second,
Falcons are up there.
the
just
Falcons
based
are up
on-
there
Based on
why do you think the
talent, I
Chargers
feel
are
like
the
we would
best?
be up there.
because they have a solidified franchise quarterback.
But-
And I think that's the biggest piece to any rebuild is
Yeah,
a
look at
solidified
the
franchise.
Commanders. Don't have a franchise QB right now.
They
The-
will,
yet.
which
But
is why
they-
they're second.
The Chargers don't have any room for error, any cap room error.
No,
They're
they
gonna
actually
lose.
have.
They're going to cut a
less-
bunch of
And we've
people,
seen-
but I think they're going to hit the rebuild button this year, and then by the
They're just
time,
gonna blow everything up.
not everything, but they're probably going to get rid of Khalil Mack somehow.
You
get
have
off that
to.
contract.
You have got to get off that contract.
Who else is under big contract there? I mean,
Keenan.
Herbert's.
Keenan,
He's so good. He's still so good.
he's the highest paid wide receiver in the league this upcoming year.
I
Based on
think they're
cap
going to
rate.
have to make a lot of tough
Mhm.
decisions.
Trade Herbert.
That's
Crazy.
what I said. Everybody called me a madman.
If they trade Herbert,
They're screwed.
they're absolutely screwed.
Trade Herbert.
If they
For
trade
what?
Herbert though,
For
Draft
what?
Jaden Daniels.
Anyway, I'm not. I can't.
I'm not even gonna address that. Let's
I
not
mean,
even go
you've
there.
seen though a good like a franchise quarterback that can't afford any wide receivers is still bad. You have the greatest
Without
you have the
talent.
greatest quarterback in football right now without any wide receivers, and
You see how they're doing. That is a good point. But that's why I would cut Keenan.
he's still got the second greatest tight end of all time on his team. And
You
he's
still-
still losing.
You have to. You have to trade Keenan, but it's I mean, let's go look at cap room. I'll go look at it.
His cap hit this year is like 33 mil.
Let's see. So next year, the Commanders have the most. So who could use a wide receiver? Dang, all these teams.
Allen
Texans,
is slated for a $34.72 million cap hit.
Okay,
in
these are the teams.
2024.
These are the teams that can afford it that are kind of wide receiver needy. The Giants, the Panthers.
The Giants have not. I was talking to my dad about this the other day, and I thought this shit was so funny. I couldn't name you a Giants receiver outside of Darius Slayton for the Giants in the last decade.
Victor Cruz.
Odell Beckham,
Oh, I guess I forget Odell played there because those
Jalen
were such-
Hyatt.
No.
Wandale Robinson, Kadarius
No.
Toney.
Okay,
Golden
I'm
Tate.
talking about somebody who actually meant something.
Kenny
You
Galladay.
had no. Again, they're all like they had Darius Slayton's old as shit. He's been there for years.
Kenny
you had,
Galladay.
You had OBJ,
Mm-hmm.
and you had Victor Cruz. They have not had a bona fide wide receiver one since Victor Cruz
And
OBJ.
and OBJ. They need one back.
Yeah, so they can afford it. I mean, they're at 30. They're at 38 million. So it'd be pushing it.
That leaves
The
$3
Panthers,
million on
The
their cap.
Panthers, the Cardinals,
If they don't get Marv, maybe
the Bears. The Bears
Nah,
have
'cause-
62 million.
the Bears are
not?
going to get Marv.
The Bears, not necessarily. I don't know what they're going to. I have no idea what they're
I
going
think
to
they're
do.
keeping Justin.
Okay, if they
they're
keep
dra-
Justin, then they're trading back far enough to not worry about Marv. I don't think they're going to get Marv.
No, they'll trade with 2 or 3.
I guess. I'd still take a tackle.
But if you're the Bears and you call up 2 or 3 for the draft, and they know you're not taking Caleb now, you don't have any leverage.
Well, that's the point. That's why you only talk. That's why you talk to 2 first. That's why because Caleb is from DC, and if you trade back one spot with the Commanders, you're like, hey, give us next year's first and a fifth, and we'll give you one.
Or I've seen some where like obviously you just pick swap for this year, and then they get like a second rounder this year and
But the Commanders aren't going to trade any capital this year because they want to build through this draft. Is what I'm kind of collecting from what it looks like is that they want to
I
build
guess
through
it's
this
going to
draft.
depend on their coach a lot.
Yeah.
It's going to depend on their coach a lot.
The Patriots have 75 million.
They need a wide receiver bad.
The Texans have 75 million, but I don't think they need it.
No, they don't need a
The Colts
wide
also have
receiver.
73 million.
They could I mean, you got Michael Pittman. You've got a wide receiver one.
Alec Pierce as
That's
well.
just such a hard
Josh Downs.
That's a hard
Touchdown's gonna be
contract.
good.
So
That's a hard contract to move. It's a very hard contract to move.
they're near the bottom. They're not at the bottom in terms of money.
The Chargers?
Yeah, they're not at the bottom.
They're bottom 5.
Bottom 4,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Not good.
I mean, Bosa's making a lot, but you got to hang on to Bosa.
Do you?
Mike Williams is making yeah, probably.
What has he done? Got
You
hurt.
mean you have to hang on to him because you're not? It's just going to be a crazy dead cap hit, or do
Yeah,
you got to hold
yeah,
on to him
yeah,
because
yeah,
of
yeah.
the way
Because
he's
that-
played?
Because that hit would be
Okay.
terrible.
That
It would be
contract was terrible.
22 million in dead cap versus Keenan Allen's 11.
Keenan would only have 11 in dead cap.
Mm-hmm.
Cut him.
Mike Williams is on a $32 million contract. He's making almost as much as Keenan Allen, and he's gotten hurt how many times? His dead cap is 12.
Their
I don't think he
GM
can-
was such
I don't
an
think
idiot.
he can take. I don't think he can tear his ACL anymore.
He doesn't have one.
There's
It's
nothing
just
to
gone.
tear.
on. Yeah.
Um,
They didn't even have to surgically repair it this last time. They're just like, give it 8 months.
I mean, it's literally just Khalil Mack. Gotta get rid of him somehow. His dead cap is 15. Joey Bosa's dead cap is 22. He's making 36. Keenan Allen's making 34. Mike Williams is making 32. Derwin's making 20. Justin's making 20. Corey Linsley's making 14, and everybody else is making less than 10. So it's just the top 7 guys.
But I mean, it's going to be
You got to get rid of.
tough.
But if you can get rid of Khalil Mack for like somebody like he's still a valuable asset.
just for that much money, dude,
It's hard.
like, it's hard.
Trade him back to the Bears.
You might get like a second and a fifth.
Raiders.
I'd take that.
Imagine Khalil Mack and Max Crosby on the same team.
I wouldn't.
That's some brothers.
That's a.
Gerald Everett's also making $8.7 million apparently. That's his value.
I really hope they draft Brock Bowers because
They probably will.
all the other mock drafts I have seen, if he doesn't get drafted by the Chargers, he falls to the Saints at 14. And if I have to buy a
Oh.
fucking black and yellow jersey, black and gold, whatever that ugly ass thing is, if I have to buy that,
I don't want to
And
have to
rep
buy
that.
a Patriots Jaden Daniels jersey.
We'll be beside each other, praying on the couch when the.
Where do you want him to go that you're going to buy a jersey of?
I would really like him to go to Washington. I think that's
He won't go.
the best situation.
You think he's going to get picked over May or Caleb?
No,
I think if
no, don't say something outlandish. He's not getting picked over Caleb or Drake.
I'm not saying Caleb, maybe Drake. Maybe Drake.
Drake is generational talent in terms of.
That's what they say
Caleb-
about all of them.
But Caleb and Drake have been projected 1 and 2 since the start of the football season. Before the
Yes.
football season started, they were 1 and 2, and it
You
has.
never know, though.
And with
And only one of them was the best player in college football this year. I'm just saying.
the Bears
one
make
of the
some
two that I
questionable
was just talking
decisions all
about.
the time.
Best player or Heisman? There's a difference.
Is
I think
there a
Marvin
difference?
Harrison was a better player than him,
And
than Jaden Daniels.
Mm.
Value wise? Not
Yeah,
value wise.
value to his
I
team.
mean,
Malik had a
Player.
better season.
Again, that's just That's
the Giants.
numbers.
Would you like a Giants Jaden Daniels jersey?
Yeah, I would like that.
Would you like a Falcons Jaden Daniels jersey?
Yeah, I would like that as well.
Would you like a Vikings Jaden Daniels jersey?
I'd get down with that. I wouldn't really have to change team colors.
I'd kill myself. I do not. I don't know. I don't want to take a shot. I want somebody who's like a
I don't think there's anybody like that in the draft this year. I don't think there's
Drake May. I would do a lot for Drake May. Trade.
whoa,
Based on what? Based on what? I'm
Talent.
just curious
Gut
because
feeling and talent.
the last 2 North Carolina quarterbacks,
Sam Howell was good.
he got benched for Jacoby Brissett.
Well, look at the last LSU quarterbacks to come out. Zach Mettenberger. Woo.
Joe
I-
Burrow.
I-
Joe
no-
Burrow?
Oh, I
nobody-
forgot Joe Burrow.
Nobody,
Besides Joe
The
Burrow.
greatest college quarterback in
Besides
history.
Joe Burrow.
nobody. I wasn't disagreeing with you on LSU.
I know, but
either.
I'm
I'm
just saying, like-
the track record of the last 2 North Carolina quarterbacks has not been good, and I never once watched a Drake May game and was like, "Holy shit, this dude is an absolute baller."
Did you say that about?
I don't know if we have watched, like, we just never watched the same.
But we could say the
games.
same thing about Ohio State quarterbacks.
Yeah, we could.
But CJ Stroud turned out wonderful. Like, it's not about the college. I don't think the college has anything to do with it. I think saying like the last 2 North Carolina quarterbacks is a little like just kind of closed-minded. Like,
A little bit, but I mean,
They
you
play
can look
against
at
really bad. It's not the same. Big Ten plays against a lot of good competition though. I mean, you're playing Georgia Tech. You're playing North Carolina State.
Clemson.
Duke.
Clemson.
And that's
NC
what
State's
I think.
good.
I think Jaden. That is part of why I think Jaden has the opportunity to succeed is because he played in the best conference in the country and did it against some of the best teams in the country.
Well,
The only
who did
ACC
you, who did you play
quarterbacks
this year
have
that
been
was
good played in the
Bama.
playoff.
like Bama, Ole Miss?
Ole Miss is not a good defense.
That's true.
Bama.
Missouri, their
Florida
defense was
State
decent
at the beginning of the year.
at the beginning of the year.
Missouri's defense was okay. Wasn't anything special.
I don't think you played a very defensively. The SEC was not where it normally is this year.
Better than Georgia Tech.
Like tearing up the SEC and dropping points all over everybody like 3-4 years ago would have been a different story.
Anyway, I just think Drake May, it's a lot of gut. Like, I think Drake May is going to be really good, but just like from a physical perspective, he has the tools and he has the mechanics of a NFL caliber quarterback.
Okay.
He's just a little slow when it comes to reading. He's very good
His-
at he can
his
read. His progressions
progression
are
is
great.
slow.
No, his progressions are good. His actual throwing motion
It's slow.
is a little slower than what you want. And so I think that's going to be the biggest knock is that his throwing motion takes more time than the rest of the quarterbacks. But that's not something that can't be improved.
Yeah. Kind of like a pitcher. Like you can always
Yeah.
kind of improve a little bit to
Yeah.
your.
So
I think Caleb's a bust. I think
Clip
Caleb will end up being the next Bryce Young. We talk one.
they're so different. Are
They
you just saying
different
in terms of? Are you
in
just saying in terms of like production?
production. I think he's so hyped up. The thing for Bryce is he's undersized.
It depends
Bryce
on
is
where
undersized.
Caleb goes.
I think Caleb doesn't have this.
It depends on where Caleb goes. If
That's what I said
Caleb,
about Stroud too.
I honestly, yeah.
No, but it's different. Stroud he's not intelligent. I'm not saying Caleb Williams is not intelligent. What I'm saying is Caleb Williams does not possess the emotional fortitude to deal with the NFL.
I don't know. You got to be pretty emotional to write "fuck Utah" on your fingernails.
And then lose.
And
That's what
lose.
and then you're in the stands this year crying right after a game. Like I think there's too much up here telling a franchise that you want 5% ownership stake in them. If you draft them or you're not, if you're not,
to be fair, worth a shot. I would like
that's
like him.
ridiculous.
I don't think it's smart. And I
He's
don't think
too
it's right.
Hollywood. He's too
got
Hollywood.
he's got an ego that is comparable to one Mr. Ye West, I think.
Probably, but it comes from a place of talent. Like
And
at
I
Oklahoma, he was
say-
incredible as last year with
Your argument. Here's my only. Your
The last
argument is
time,
to
I think-
most things when we're talking about like players who have either had success or should have success or are highly touted is always talent. Talent is only about half of it. If you're not a hard worker, if you don't have the emotional fortitude, if you can't deal with pressure, like all these things, talent does not carry you 85, 90% of the way when you get to the league. It can't, because you've got all these other dudes working 10 times harder than you that want it 10 times more than you do and are 10 times stronger up here than you are. I get what you're saying about the talent. I think what's going to hold him back, his ego is huge. He is already looking for the money. He's not looking for a team to contend with or not. He is already looking for the bag. And we have already seen that he can very easily get in his own head and get in his own way and
We'll
mess up
see.
things for himself.
I don't have a solid grasp on how he's going to be in the NFL. I think if he gets drafted to the wrong team, he's screwed. He's
yeah, like
just
if
a
the
hard guy
Pats
to
trade up, if
He's-
the Pats trade up and he goes and plays for New England, I think he's fucked.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do. I think he would do well with the Bears. But here's
I also don't think the Bears are a bad team with a good draft this year.
there's a reason. Wait, say that again.
I don't think the Bears are a bad team with a
Oh,
good
okay.
draft
I thought you
this
said
year.
they're not a good team with a good draft. I was like, no, I think
don't
they're
think
they're going to be an
they
NFC
could-
North contender.
That's what with a good draft this year with the right draft. They got to
Yeah.
make the right. That's why I think they should stick with Fields. You can either go get Marv or you can trade back a little bit more with somebody who really like, let's say the Giants decide to move up, right? Let's say they decide they are going to, they are selling out the franchise to get Caleb Williams because they think he's the future. You get a first this year and a first next year. Trade back a little bit. You take a tackle, and then
Yeah.
you take an edge guy to put on the opposite end of Montez Sweat. You've got a damn good team already.
Here's my thought process on the Caleb Williams draft. If Caleb goes anywhere but one, I think you have a legitimate point, because the people who are projecting this are experts. They're experts who are saying he's going to go number one. They're NFL analysts and NFL scouts of teams who are looking towards their future and have the best
Right,
possible outcome
yeah,
in mind. So if he goes at one, I think you have to say there's something that we obviously don't see that everybody else sees.
We watched Bryce Young go at one last year. We've watched.
But and
we've
we
watched-
still don't know.
Was Tim Couch was the number one overall pick?
That was also 30 years ago.
Okay, Jamarcus Russell.
But I'm just saying there's obviously something that we aren't seeing.
I don't disagree. Like obviously he has the talent.
If he goes
but I
if he
think-
goes 2 or later, then you have a legitimate argument that people are like, he doesn't have the mindset to win. But if he goes
I
at
feel
one,
like I have that argument either way. But my opinion and a scout's opinion can be completely different. That's fine.
yeah, no, I
In
don't.
my personal
think-
opinion.
He, potential wise, this could be one of the best quarterback prospects we've seen in a decade.
Right.
But the last time we saw somebody with that kind of potential and this kind of
So much hype.
off the field is Manziel.
He was taking like 20th,
He
wasn't
was
he?
taking 21st.
I'm just saying, with like, people thought,
Yeah, but people didn't think he was going to be an NFL quarterback. Nobody thought he was going to be an NFL quarterback. The Browns
About
took a shot on
Baker?
him because they could.
Baker was the wrong situation, though. You look at the Browns have never been able
Trevor
to.
talking
Lawrence
about
was
hype.
Trevor Lawrence was the last player to
hype,
come out
okay.
with this much hype. Trevor
Yeah,
Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence was
and
the last
ridiculously
quarterback
touted.
that we talked about.
as a generational, once in a generation quarterback was Trevor Lawrence. Before that, it was Burrow, and before that, it was. Dang, who was before that?
Carson Wentz.
No, he
because
didn't
he didn't even go one. Goff went one.
Goff didn't
Winston.
have that much hype.
I mean,
Uh,
Andrew Luck. It was Andrew Luck
Andrew Luck.
before that.
And Andrew Luck would have been a generational guy had,
I still think he is a generational guy.
if
But
the Colts had an idea of what an offensive line
We'll
was
see.
back then.
He got
We'll
sacked
see.
so many times he turned to a Civil War vet.
It's true. We'll see. I look forward to the draft. I think that both quarterbacks.
I'm excited for it. I'm also scared. I'm also concerned as a Falcons fan.
I'm scared as a Vikings fan. If we take Jaden Daniels or if we take Michael Penix.
If we take Penix at 8, I'm not going to be able to watch next year, dude.
I'd rather have Daniel. I've decided that I'd rather have Daniels than
I'd
Penix
rather
with
have
the
an
injury history.
That's what I'm going to say. I would rather have a dude.
Who can stay on the field.
I like Michael Penix, his arm and his accuracy and his talent inside the pocket more than I like Jaden's. But I've seen Jaden take some big hits and get back up and go right
if
back
Jaden
into
Daniels
the huddle,
what he does at LSU in terms of running.
Oh, it'll
Like
be a
a-
problem. It'll be a problem.
Yeah, he's gonna. I'm sure in his meetings with some of these scouts, they're gonna say like, if we draft you, you can't do that.
You have to slide.
You have to slide.
Yeah, because look at how it turned out for AR this past season.
AR,
Look how-
Daniel Jones,
When Carson Wentz was running like that.
yeah, Carson Wentz,
It didn't work. I mean,
Josh Allen. Josh Allen's found a way to stay healthy.
Josh and Cam Newton are the only two in recent memory. And even Cam, after the Super Bowl, started getting banged up. Shoulder.
His big injury
Twice.
came in the pocket, surprisingly. It was TJ who did it.
You know who's also like that? Steve Young. Steve Young was an
Yeah.
idiot with the ball in his. He literally tried to truck like
Everybody.
linebackers.
But he stayed on the field. He won
Yeah,
2 Super Bowls? 3?
2 or 3.
2 was the starting, I think. I think he was on the team with Montana when they won one.
Montana, yeah.
Because Montana won
Montana
4.
won foe.
3. 2 as a backup, 1 as a starter.
Okay, so I was a little bit opposite.
Um,
Damn, could you imagine being the backup for 2 Super Bowls, and then you finally get your chance, and you're like, oh, cool, we're just gonna go win one. That's kind of
Do
crazy.
you want to draft a quarterback
No.
as a Vikings fan
when
this
Now.
year?
when in the draft, first round, second round.
What's your pick?
If you're
I want a
taking
second.
quarterback,
I want
okay.
Bo Nix in the second round. If we can
Okay.
get Bo Nix in the second round, that would be ideal. I want an edge rusher. I want Chop, or I want Verse, or I want Latu. I want one of them.
It's so that
Dallas.
has
I've
been
seen
my-
a lot
that-
of Dallas Turner to Minnesota.
that-
Y'all have the 11th pick.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of
that
Dallas
has
Turner.
been my thing when I look at this draft this year. The Falcons have not had an edge rusher. We had Vic Beasley for 1 year, led the league in sacks, and then they decided to drop him into coverage the following year, and it's trash. We haven't had a true edge rusher since the days of John Abraham, and he hasn't played for us.
Vic for a year.
That's what I said. Vic for
Oh, I
1
didn't
year
hear,
when
I
he led
didn't hear
the
the
league.
Vic thing.
Yeah, John, you had him. I think he was still on the team when we went to the 2012 NFC Championship against the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I don't remember him much, like maybe 13, 14.
Well,
You haven't had a guy in over a decade.
when it
This
comes-
is the draft to get
But
him.
when it comes to the Falcons, you need a quarterback. If you're not going to take one in free agency, or you're not going to trade for one, you need a quarterback this year. You can't afford another year like that. And next year, you have Shadur. Do you want Shadur?
No, not really.
You have Carson Beck, who's promising.
I like Beck.
You have Riley Leonard.
You think
who's,
Beck's going to be the top?
Yeah,
like,
100%.
first
He'll
round
be a
pick?
top 10 quarterback.
You have
Really?
Quinn Ewers.
Next year, yeah.
Quinn
for sure.
Ewers.
Is he not worse than Stetson?
Carson?
No, from
No.
from an NFL standpoint,
Not
he's
from an NFL
significantly better.
standpoint.
He's like 6'3".
Stetson was perfect for college because he played with a lot of confidence and swag, and he was very mobile. Like, he was shifty. That's what got him out of trouble a lot.
But you have guys like Shadur, Carson Beck, Riley Leonard, Quinn Ewers, Graham Mertz is going to be an NFL guy. He's going to be an NFL guy. Will Howard, Tualia.
I'm just at 8. What is it?
Bo Nix at 23 to the Steelers, according to Fox Sports.
That'd
Why
be
do you
crazy.
want to draft a quarterback?
Here's my thing. I think the edge position will turn out better than this quarterback class.
I thought you were going to say it's more valuable.
No, I think the first round edge rushers versus the first round quarterback talent, I think the edge rushers will end up being the talk of this draft and next year. Immediate impact, I think these edge rushers are much better than these quarterbacks are going to be.
I think Bo Nix
Especially where we're picking at 8. At 8, more than likely, Caleb, Drake, and Jaden are all going to be gone.
It ain't going to be Jaden, man.
It might.
I'm not taking Michael Penix at 8. It's a waste of a pick. Bo Nix at 8 is such a reach, it's laughable. JJ McCarthy, if JJ McCarthy is drafted in the top 3 rounds,
No, he'll go first. He'll go first or mid-second at the worst. I don't agree with it.
somebody needs to lose their job. That's a terrible pick.
He led a team to a national championship.
He attempted
that
10 passes in that game for
What the
140
fuck?
yards.
Why?
He had 3
They like
touchdowns in his
injury-prone
final.
quarterbacks.
Fox
He had
is-
3
is-
touchdowns in his final 5 games.
Did you see his tweet or his in his ESPN posted like Michigan wins the national championship, and he commented under it. He was like,
Oh, I know y'all saw.
I know y'all saw those handoffs.
He's not good.
I thought it was very funny.
He is not good. I think that's so funny that people think he's going to be like this good NFL quarterback. He had 3 Okay, so going back to the
This
Purdue
says the
game.
Falcons taking Bo Nix in the second round at 43.
I'm telling you, man, he's gonna be the best.
In his last 7 games, J.J. McCarthy threw 4 touchdowns. He threw 1 against Ohio State, and he threw 3 against Bama. He had none against Purdue, none against Penn State, none against Maryland, none against Iowa, and none against Washington. He is a game manager. He is great
Some teams.
at checkdowns, flats, and handing the ball off to a good running back.
This says Michael Penix going to the Falcons at 8.
I know, I've seen that a lot now. Hopefully, after the game yesterday,
or
his stock goes back down. Oh, today's Wednesday.
2 days
After
ago?
the game Monday, hopefully his stock goes back down. I don't want him. Because here's another issue that I have. Penix, Bo Nix, JJ, they're all projects. They all have more talent than Desmond Ridder, but they're all just projects. I'm going to have to watch the same growing pains next year with a team that should be in win now mode. If you can't trade for a guy and you can't,
I still think y'all should go get Fields. If the Bears are if the Bears are
he's
set on
available,
moving
I
on,
like him.
are you still taking Howell over Fields? Are you still taking last week you said you'd take Minshew over Fields.
It depends on what that is more based on what I think we would have to give up. I'm not giving away my first round pick this
No,
year
it
for
wouldn't be
nothing.
it wouldn't be a first round pick this year.
Well,
it would
originally when
probably-
we talked about it, you said we would have to give up
A first round pick. Maybe next year's first. I would trade next year's first for Justin Fields. That's probably going to be like if Justin Fields turns out how you want it to turn out and you have a good draft that you have Justin Fields
I'm
and
not-
you have the 8th overall pick this year.
I am pretty confident in Terry Fontenot's ability to draft. So far,
So
He
then
hasn't
if
given
you
me-
give
he
up
hasn't
next
given me
year's
any
first,
reason
that's
not
probably
to.
a playoff team.
It should be.
Would you not give up that's a
I
future
give up.
franchise
I'll
quarterback.
give up next year's first.
That's what I'm saying. Next year's
I'm
first.
not giving up this year's first, and
You could probably give next year's first and get a 4th rounder with Justin Fields or a 5th rounder with Justin Fields. We should do.
I'll take him. Yes, I would take him 100%. I'm taking anybody that's available right now over what we
Russell
got
Wilson?
on the damn roster. Not him. Never mind. Sorry. I don't want a franchise ruining. We
Zach
already have
Wilson-
one of those.
Zach Wilson's on the market.
We just got over the Matt Ryan contract. Okay, I do
Zach
not
Wilson's
want
on
Russ.
the market. The Jets announced that they're trading Zach Wilson.
I would.
Who is going
rather
to trade for him?
I would rather trade for Fields.
The Steelers.
Man, no.
I would rather trade. I would rather trade for Fields.
Yeah,
If it
obviously.
gets down to it, and we got to go after somebody like,
Zach Wilson.
I would have more faith in Zach Wilson's ability to win us football games next year than I would Desmond Ridder.
I agree.
What about Mitch?
Fuck no.
Man, we need to get rid of him somehow.
Cool.
Go
Dump
get
him
Aiden.
off in
Go get
Canada,
Aiden O'Connell.
somebody.
Go get Jimmy G.
Hell no.
Trevor Simeon.
You'd rather have Aiden. Who'd you rather have, Aiden O'Connell or Zach Wilson?
Zach.
Easton Stick.
Fuck no.
I'm taking Zach because I
Really?
don't. I don't
I'd
think
rather
he
have
was
Aiden
ever
O'Connell.
given a fair chance. He was never.
He was a starter for a full year, and he was horrible.
That team was ass.
Well, yeah, but so is Desmond Ritter's team.
The team is not bad. Desmond Ridder and Arthur Smith were bad.
What
I
about
think-
Sam Darnold?
I don't know.
What about
you haven't seen anything out of him since
Lance.
Hell no.
Go get Trey Lance.
Hell no.
Yes.
Obviously, there's something that everybody figured out about Trey Lance, given that he is still the 3rd string on Dallas's team.
Cooper Rush.
Hey, Cooper Rush is probably the best backup quarterback in the league, though.
Jake
Jimmy G's a backup.
I think we're forgetting about no Cooper Rush. Did you not remember him last season, man?
Yeah, but that's I don't know.
I think
He came in and was
I
better
think
than
all
Dak.
backup quarterbacks are volatile as hell.
I'd rather have Jake Browning than Cooper Rush.
That's.
I think
reach.
they're all.
I'd rather have
And
Tyrod Taylor.
With Jake Browning comes Jake Browning's girlfriend.
That's the only positive.
You would get to watch her every Sunday.
I think
What more could
think
you
coming
ask
up in the
for?
next couple months we should do a mock draft where we each get like a pick and we just get to go around.
Like one of us gets the first.
Like I'll
second,
take
third,
the
fourth.
first, second, third, and you have to draft based on that.
We will do a full
I would rather-
seven-round, 250
Nah, hell no.
picks
I would rather
mock draft.
I would rather each one of us have our own team's pick.
yeah, but then
And hold on, wait a second. And then you pick. We would pick like out of a hat or something.
like viewers.
1, 2, 3, and 4. And so you would
Oh,
go.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
Okay.
kind of what I'm saying. Yeah, like
you
you
would
just
go-
get random picks. Yes,
Okay,
but it would just go in order. Like
that's what I'm
will
saying.
you get
would
your
go
own
if-
picks?
like if that hat has just 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you get 1, you go 1. Let's say he gets 2, 3, and 4. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
That's what I'm
6.
saying.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what
And
I'm
then
saying.
like
and then
eighth
you get
pick,
your own
I get
pick.
my own
You
pick.
get your own
I
pick.
get my team's pick. I like that. We could definitely do that. I think
That'd
be cool.
Fun little challenge and steal somebody from right under your nose.
It would be interesting for sure.
Yeah, that could be an episode in like March,
When's the draft?
mock draft
April
special.
27th
So that could be an episode in April.
or April.
I definitely wouldn't do it in March.
March
Do
is
it.
March Madness, baby.
March Madness, baby.
March is also combine season.
We're gonna do a 17-hour road trip.
Hopefully, there's
this year.
another Chris
round
Jones
trip on the
moment.
same day. Chris Jones.
Yeah, combine.
Oh boy, he doesn't know.
Oh, I'll show you.
It's
You
an
said
all,
you said you liked him soft.
it's an all-time classic combine
I
moment.
don't want to see Chris Jones' dick.
Oh, you do.
I don't.
Thanks, huge.
Y'all said and y'all said it was me, bro.
Be a big boy, man.
Y'all were getting on me, bro. Oh my gosh. This is what happens when we don't have a ton of notes for episodes. Like when we
Anyway.
don't have a structured way to the episode. This
I'll
is
bring
what
some.
you guys get.
I'll bring some structure. Hot takes of the week.
Some
I can start,
Go ahead.
so I'll give y'all some time. I'm gonna double down on my hot take from 3 weeks ago.
the Pistons.
No,
The Rams.
I think the Rams are gonna take down the Lions in Ford
Oh,
Field this week. I think it's a
hope
perfect
not.
story. Stafford comes back. Did you see what like a Detroit Newsline posted?
No.
They said do not wear Stafford jerseys to the game.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like don't wear
actually.
Stafford Lions
That's
jerseys
probably
to the game.
outside of well, no, I take that back. That's probably your third best player of all time.
Like that's like he did so much for the organization. You're like, don't wear Stafford jerseys because he's playing against us. Like that's bad karma, is what it is. And I think that Stafford's going to come in there.
I'm having a tough time thinking about who I'm going to pick for this game. I've gone back and forth in my head, and
Yeah, there's a little preview to pick them. Go watch that after.
I am a
this.
staff. I'm
I'm a Staffy lover.
I love Staff, so I love Stafford. I'm not gonna say I love Staff. Yeah, I don't want Staff.
No, but I think the Rams are getting good at the right time. They're hot. They've won how many games in a row have they won? Or they've won like
5
they're-
out of the last 6, I think.
yeah, they're on a hot stretch. And so
I would tell you if ESPN
I got
wasn't
it.
bugging.
It's working fine for me, man.
Is it? Every time I click on the NFL playoffs,
they've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Oh,
6,
finally,
7.
there
They've
we go.
won 7 of their last 8. So hot at the
They're
right
hot.
time. They're getting healthy. Kyron's good. Cooper's good. Stafford looks good.
Hookah's good.
Puka's good.
Puka.
Puka. It's just going to depend on the defense. Their defense has looked very
I could say the same
wishy-washy.
thing about
Detroit.
Detroit, though. Some days their defense shows up and you're like, damn,
So-
it's good. Some days it shows up and you're like, man, y'all costing your team wins.
Yeah, they give up a lot of points. But that's my hot take is that the Lions are going to walk into Ford Field. So there's a little, like I said, a little sneak peek of our pick'em segment. But yeah, walk into Ford Field, walk out with a dub, rip the throats out of a couple Lions fans. First home playoff game in X amount of years. I don't even know. Get throttled by the former franchise quarterback, Matthew Stafford.
I really want to go to the playoffs and do another hot take, but we're going to do pick 'em after this. So I
Yeah,
feel
that's
I
what I
don't
was-
want to give away my,
I just had to
don't
double
even-
down on my hot take from
I don't want
weeks
to
ago.
give away. Oh man,
That was
where
the
do
hot
I want to
take.
go?
That was a hot take like 4 weeks ago.
Where do I
actually.
want to go now? I got to pivot.
The Falcons take
Pivot.
Michael Penix.
Pivot. I don't know now. Man,
You got
that's
one?
tough. I don't want to do
So
because I wanted to, but I don't want to give something away.
well, it doesn't matter for me because I pick first and pick them.
Yep.
So
For now.
it doesn't matter what I say because y'all are all going to hear it anyways. So my hot take is the playoffs. And I believe that Baker Mayfield will throw for at least 300 yards
Damn.
and 3 TDs.
Damn.
And they're going to win at home against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Damn.
That was a good one.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it.
Philadelphia sucks.
All right, I'll go real hot.
Hot
And-
as fuck.
Hot as fuck. And it'll just be this is just going to be kind of a fun one. You can talk about it. You can not talk about it. I think that the Los Angeles Clippers have a very good chance in making the Western Conference Finals this year. In a very tough Western Conference. I think they will make the Western Conference Finals. You've got a pretty deep roster with Russ coming off the bench. You've got Harden, PG, and Kawhi all finally starting to mesh. Their last couple games haven't been great, but they are still 7-3 in their last 10. Their point differential is one of the best in the Eastern Conference. Their defense is good, one of the better ones in the Eastern Conference.
Where does it rank in the Western Conference?
Their defense,
Their point differential.
their point differential is
75.
tied second.
Oh, so they're good in both conferences.
Oh, you said in the NBA?
No, you said it. You said in the Eastern Conference.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
My bad. In the Western Conference, they're tied second. And in the NBA, they would be tied fourth or tied fifth. Yeah, they'd be tied fourth. So I think they've got a great chance, especially come playoff time with all the experience. You're going to have some younger teams in there this year, like the Thunder. The Kings are still kind of young. The Timberwolves always find a way to choke. I think maybe not choke. They just, I won't say choke because they haven't been the most. They haven't been as talented as they are right now.
We almost beat the
a
2
while.
seed Grizzlies 2 years ago if it weren't for a stupid Ja Morant.
The Grizzlies are always frauds though. Grizzlies never should have been a 2 seed in any year. So
Yeah.
I think the Clippers, with all the experience, with Harden coming off the bench now, with a good big three in the Western Conference, with a good defense right now, will make the Western Conference Finals.
That is pretty hot.
All right. Well, I don't know how big of a hot take this is because I'm not a big college football guy, but I don't want to pick an NFL game because,
Trying to hold some of those.
yeah. But I am going to go to next season in college football. My prediction is the Utah Utes. I said it earlier. I don't know if it was on here or in the car, but they're going to make the playoff next year, the 12-team playoff, and they're going to win a game. I think that's a pretty hot take. I mean, Cam Rising, he always rises to the occasion, like we said. Their defense, I think it's not top. Is it top 10?
Who their
It
defense?
was top,
It's like
yeah.
top
30.
20.
It was top 30 for sure this year.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was
You
better
got to
than
think
that.
there's 130
Yeah.
college football teams, though, so being top 30 is normally pretty solid.
And they are jumping to the Big 12, correct?
Their team was
They're
Yes.
13th in defense.
13th in total defense.
Yeah. So they got the defense. They're getting Cam Rising back for his 27th year in college football. And I think they're definitely going to be better than LSU. I think they'll be better than Penn State, unfortunately. Better than Washington. Better than Notre Dame, unfortunately. I think they could realistically be the 8 or the 9.
Okay.
I think Washington.
Well, if
could-
they win the Big 12,
Mm-hmm.
they're automatically a top 4 seed.
I think we could
Yep.
see Washington.
Yep.
But Texas is. Oh no, Texas.
No,
Texas
Texas.
is.
See, the Big 12 got so much easier for Utah. Arizona, Kansas, and Oklahoma State.
Yeah, top power
Oh,
five.
they still have Texas listed as Big 12 on ESPN.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the top 4, the conference winners. So SEC, ACC, Big 12, and Big 10 will
Then
be the
2
one-
at large.
will be 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Because right now they have
Six,
Georgia,
yeah.
Texas, Oregon, and Alabama as the top 4 for next season.
Wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, Texas cannot
Yeah.
be the.
Alabama can't be there either.
Yeah.
I think that's just. Is that not just? Is this like future power rankings? Is that what that is?
I think it's just rankings. Yeah, top 25.
Top 25 rankings. Yeah. It'll probably
How
be
is that going to work?
with what? Whoever wins the SEC gets
So-
to buy.
Yeah, obviously, and I'm talking about like, let's say, can you not have 2 SEC teams ranked top 4 anymore?
No. Well, not at the end of the year.
I guess they could be, but they just won't.
It
in
won't be
terms of
seeded
seeding.
that way. So it would be
Yeah, so you
it'd be
would
winner, 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 winner at large. So if Alabama went 12-1,
5 and 6 right now are group of 5 conference winners.
they get an at large. No, they just get an at large bid. So they're probably going to end up being 12.
Okay, is that
Yeah,
But they
it's
gotta
the next
pick, it's
8 teams are all at large. There's no specific seeding from specific conferences.
But
It's-
there has to be 2. From what I saw, 2 group of 5 conference winners.
Are
just
they just
one.
gonna get their ass whooped?
just one group of
Just
5.
the one?
Just one group of 5
What's the
team,
point
and
of
then
winning?
so the
'Cause
group of 5
we
winner
have
gets
to
in,
be
and then
inclusive.
seven
That's
at large
Title
teams. So if
IX
Bama
bullshit.
goes 12-1 and Georgia
they're-
goes 13-0, Georgia gets the 1. Bama probably gets the
The
5.
5.
So what I'm hearing is
It's-
Notre Dame has absolutely no chance to be top 4.
No,
Correct.
That's
literally zero.
They
chance.
literally can't beat.
And
That's their
literally-
own fault.
All these 5 versus 12 games are going to be like when Oregon played Liberty. It is going to look like that every single time.
Hey. Tulane
Because-
played USC 2
Well-
years ago and won.
Okay, but if it's how it's supposed to work, and like the next best team, or basically the team that lost the SEC championship gets the 5 seed, Alabama will do unspeakable things to a team like Tulane.
Yep. Western
They
Michigan.
will have to take it off the air because it will be so bad.
They'll have to
Yeah.
pay them like damages,
Yeah, probably.
emotional
They'll probably go pay
damages
for
to the players.
therapists.
But
I don't blame Notre Dame though.
really, for not joining a conference,
Do you know how much money they're getting from
They
NBC?
make too much money.
It is an ungodly amount. More money than they make from making a playoff game. It's an ungodly amount of money.
It makes no sense for them to join a conference other than
The
they want to compete in
opportunity to win a
football. It
national
would
championship.
it would have always helped it. Now it doesn't matter for them.
Yeah, now they get in regardless.
But
so.
for years it's what kind of kept them.
Isn't it interesting how so the final AP poll came out? Did you look at it?
Mm-mm.
You know who finished over who? Georgia finished over Bama. Georgia was 4, Bama was 5. How much sense does that make?
That
The
seems
whole reason
ass
Georgia didn't get
backwards.
in and the whole reason Florida State didn't get in was because Texas beat Bama, so they have to be over them. And Bama beat Georgia, so Bama has to be in and Georgia can't be in.
That is about the dumbest. It goes Michigan, Washington, Texas, Georgia. is
hey,
the
we
top
moved
4.
up a spot. We moved up to 12. Let's go.
Yeah.
Then
Barely
Alabama,
squeaked out when against Wisconsin. You get to move up.
Oregon,
We didn't have Jake
Florida State,
Daniels.
Who
Missouri,
moved down?
Mississippi, and Ohio State.
We are above Penn State and Notre Dame.
Ole Miss. No, where's Ole Miss?
Ole Miss is 9.
Oh, Penn State moved down 1.
We are above Penn
So we
State.
beat 2 top 10 teams this year.
Go Blue. Good job, Michigan.
I think we could see Washington have a TCU level fall off next
Oh,
year.
100%.
They
They're
could,
they're
yeah,
number
they're losing.
25 in terms of ESPN power rankings for
They're
next year.
losing so much of their talent.
Really? You said
But they're getting Will Rogers. So
this one has them at 11.
They're losing.
They're losing their
Penix.
quarterback.
They're losing
Odunze.
Dylan Jones.
Is Polk leaving? I don't think Polk's leaving.
McClellan will leave.
Yeah, he
McLennan
is.
will leave. Polk's leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Polk's leaving. Trice is going to be
Trice
gone.
will be gone.
Probably
their
that corner
interior-
Muhammad is really good.
He's
that
really
corner.
good. Their
Yep,
interior
Jabbar.
lineman.
So like their 8 best.
Like some Hawaiian.
It's a yeah.
yeah.
You're not talking about Troy, are you? He's a tackle.
No,
Troy
they are
Fromm.
losing their starting left tackle though, which is
their-
big.
Their like 8 or 9 best players are all leaving this year.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
are
it's gonna be
adding
tough.
they're adding Will Rogers, Jeremiah Hunter, Trey Watson, Sebastian Valdez, Drew Azzopardi, BJ Green, and Ethan Barr.
And they're
Will
going-
Rogers is significant, but other than
They're
that,
moving to a more difficult conference.
Thule is that D lineman. I had to find it. It was going to bother me. Thule and Jabbar Muhammad.
They're Big Ten, right?
Yes.
Oregon's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to watching. I'm
They
looking
have
forward
to
to watching.
play-
I'm
Oregon.
looking forward to watching them in a more competitive.
They have to
Conference.
play Michigan,
Their conference was about as competitive as it gets this year.
Michigan,
Yeah,
USC,
as it
Penn
gets.
State, Oregon,
What are you saying?
Washington's
Washington's
schedule
schedule.
next year.
Oh yeah, it's
They
fucked.
play
Michigan at Iowa, USC at Penn State,
UCLA,
UCLA at Oregon.
and they play Washington State, which is not a cakewalk.
Non-conference game though.
They could go like 8-4 next year.
Can you believe they don't have Nebraska top 25?
Yeah,
They
can't
don't have
believe
one
it.
of the shittiest teams in college football.
they normally don't put a 6-win team in the top.
Man,
Did they
25.
win 6 games?
They should be
Huh?
above
Did they
Iowa.
even win 6 games?
Yeah.
No, because they didn't
They
make a
Now
bowl
they
game.
didn't make a bowl game.
They didn't make a bowl game, so they
I thought
definitely
they won 5 or 6.
They might have won 5. 6 means bowl game.
Yeah, 6.
Because
Five sometimes means bowl game.
James Madison got to play a bowl game this year because there were not enough
Yeah, they're
6-win
5 and
teams.
7.
Yeah, 5 and 7.
They're
That's
pretty-
not my team. I just support them. Like the Big N. I'm just kidding.
And
Go Big
that's
Red, I
gonna-
guess.
Yeah, GBR.
GBR.
Shout out Will Compton. Every time somebody says something about Nebraska, I'm just gonna
Will
say shout out
Compton.
Will Compton.
Um,
His love for Nebraska is one of the funniest things to
Unwavering.
listen to. I'm the same way as a Georgia fan, so I relate. But it's so funny to listen to on their podcast, dude. Him like every week, he's like this man. It cracks me up. They never have anything bad to say about their team. It's always like it's not. I wouldn't even call it constructive criticism. Like their defense will allow 77 points, and he's like, man, like. We need to fire our DC, but, the defense, they can't do anything because of the DC, and some of our guys just didn't show up today, but they'll play better next week. It's just a bad game.
I don't know how you can possibly think that about Nebraska. Like, there's no bright spots on that team.
Their defense is really good.
At least I had something to root for this year, and
Jaden Daniels, and you got it. Do we want to jump to our
We can do dogs of the week.
dogs?
Dogs of the week.
Dogs of the week.
Why?
Can you hit another one of those for me?
That's bad.
I can start. I don't
Go
mind
ahead.
starting. Well, so I'm gonna go to the NFL playoffs. Because I think
Sure.
it's the most high volume.
Oh, hold on. I didn't even give a full intro to this segment. Wait a second. What are we doing? What are we doing?
He gave his horse, so I thought we were good.
Welcome to Dogs of the Week, presented by Underdog. Use code FDS to get a first deposit match up to $100, just in time for the NFL playoffs. Who doesn't like playing fantasy, right? Everybody loves it.
who doesn't
like money? Most people I know like both. And if you're one of those people, use the code. Get started before the NFL playoffs, because we're going to give you a couple good
Bangers.
we're going to give you a couple bangers right here
And I know bangers.
to
Have
use
you
it.
not seen that video?
And I know Bears.
We're going to give you a few for the start of the NFL playoffs this weekend.
That's right.
I just want to give you guys some stats real quick, okay? Let's get into some stats before we start. Anybody who has been rocking with me
Oh my gosh, just get
is
to
3
it.
for 3. I'm just, don't be
You look
mad.
like you look like Krispy Kreme, dude. Just the glaze.
Don't be mad. Don't be mad. I'm 3 for 3. Right now I'm batting 1,000. So
Very small sample size.
kiss my ass.
I thought one of yours got rebooted.
It
Yeah,
pushed.
push. Does a
It
push
pushed.
count?
No,
It does because it doesn't ruin the bet.
I guess.
You still would have won money.
the pick'em entry.
You're right.
The
It's
daily
still-
fantasy sports pick'em entry.
it does
pushed.
not ruin it.
You just win less money.
That's right.
It's like kissing your sister.
You just went to the
You
went to
won,
the
but at
casino.
what cost?
You just went to the casino. You won some, you lost some. You ended up coming out even, but you tipped the dealer a good bit. That's all that happened. You just tipped the dealer. Walked away, lost a couple bucks.
No, because a push, you can
No,
still
not with the
win.
push. Not with the push. With some of our bets, with our collective pick'em entries.
Hey, I've only missed 2 out of 3, so
collect. We have
Hey,
only
that's
missed
still-
2 out of 3.
If you're playing baseball, that's still Hall of Fame numbers.
Yeah, 33.
Anyway,
Anyway,
we got to pick a sport when we start talking about statistics for this to compare it to.
oh, baseball.
You want to do baseball?
Yeah,
It'll probably make-
batting 333.
It gives you the most
Yeah,
margin
it'll
for
ma-
error.
it'll-
You can
it'll
suck
make-
and you can suck and still be.
It'll give everybody else a better. All right, I got to make sure my line hasn't changed. So
I'll go ahead.
projection.
I got to make sure my projection is Jesus. We're not good at this. I got to make sure my projection is. Go ahead, Jack.
All right. NFL playoffs obviously must watch. If you're gonna put a pick'em entry in, you're gonna want to. If you don't have any stake in the game, go ahead and put some stake in the game. Play a little pick'em entry, and it starts.
Love a good steak.
Love a good steak. It starts with Joe Cool. Joe Flacco has thrown. Hold on. Let me make sure my numbers are right. I believe it's at least 2 touchdowns in every game he has started so far this season. Let me triple check my number. Actually, I can just do it on here. And he's thrown for over 250 in every game he started this season, I believe, because he started with 350 and 3 touchdowns in the first 3 games that he started. And his projection Yeah, his last 5 games, he's thrown for over 250, over 300 in his last 4, and over 2 touchdowns higher than 2 touchdowns in every
We're
game.
terrible at this. Absolutely,
I don't
we are
even.
awful.
Anyway,
Okay, go ahead.
his projection,
Okay.
he's 1.5 passing touchdowns. And he's thrown for higher than 2 passing touchdowns in every game he started this season against a Houston defense that isn't phenomenal, especially in that secondary. It's not phenomenal.
Other than Derek Stingley.
It's not phenomenal. Derek Stingley is a bright spot at times. So I will take Joe Flacco higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns versus the Houston Texans this week as my FTS pick'em entry.
I like it. All right, I'll go next. I like a specific DGD that is playing this weekend. He goes by the name of James Cook, and he's playing the Pittsburgh Steelers in some bad weather.
Mm-hmm. You got to run the ball.
You do.
Not effectively.
Doesn't have to be. I like him higher than 14.5 rushing attempts. He had 13 against Miami in a pretty bad game script. He had 16 against New England, and he had 20 against the Chargers, and that is his last 3. It's not going to be great weather. I hate it, but Josh Allen has not been great recently. He's been very up and down. You don't know what you're going to get this weekend, especially in bad weather, but the Steelers are missing their most important defensive player in TJ Watt. It's a big part.
Is Cam Hayward playing?
Yeah.
It's a big part of stopping anything up front.
Hey,
Right.
we finally
For
are in a
TJ.
position where we have depth at the edge rusher position now.
But you can't
Alex
replace
Highsmith.
TJ. Is all I'm saying. Like you're missing your best. You're missing your best player,
Yeah.
and it on the line, which is another thing to look at. So I am going to take James Cook higher than 14.5 rushing attempts.
Really quick, 10-second DGD running back shout-out. Zamir White has had over 100 scrimmage yards in every game he has started this season. Future Raiders starting running back, future Pro Bowler.
And
Lock it
he looks like a dog.
Zeus.
So,
He's a beast. Anyway, just had to say that because I forgot to earlier.
do you want to go next or do you want me to go?
I don't care as long as you don't take mine.
I hope not.
I hope not either.
I guess I'll go.
I guess so.
My dog of the week is barking, and he is pulling at the chain, and he's
What's he
about,
doing?
He's and he's about to let loose. My fantasy quarterback, my leader, Jordan Love, has thrown 2 or more TDs in 8 of his last 9
You're
games.
picking against that Dallas defense?
At
Remember
home
what happened
in
last
Jerry's
time I
world?
picked Jordan Love, man? He fucked me by like 10 yards.
If there's a part of that Dallas defense that's a little suspect, it is the secondary.
Yeah.
And he's been balling.
That's bold. I guess the Tyrod pick last week.
He's
was
been
bold.
balling.
Yeah,
8 out of his last 9 games, he has thrown 2 or more TDs. So my dog of the week is Jordan Love, higher than 1.5 passing TDs.
All right. Well, mine is going to be very similar to Mr. Twilly's on the other side of the ball because Steelers are playing in some bad weather.
Oh, yeah.
And we do not have the quarterback that the Bills have.
That's not future Super Bowl MVP Mason Rudolph you're talking about, is it?
Hey, Nick Foles won it too. So he doesn't have to be elite and a mega dynamic quarterback to win games. But
He just needs a better team.
yeah. What? Anyways, Mr. Najee Harris is going to be running that ball. He's going to be running it hard down the Bills' throats, pounding them just like we did the Ravens last week, pounding them over, over, and over again. His last 3 weeks, he has.
Please tell me you're taking higher on attempts.
No, I am not.
Taking yards?
The yards is only
58.5 rushing yards.
Okay, I can get down with that.
We are riding. His last 3, he has 112, 122, and 78.
I can get down with that. In some bad weather, he'll have the touches to produce it.
It's supposed to be snowing too.
He'll have the touches to produce it.
what's his touch line?
Touches.
touch-
Touchdown.
No, attempts.
Attempts prediction.
15.
Yeah, I'd probably take
That's-
yards.
yeah, I like that. I like your pick better than I like his pick.
So I'm going higher for Mr. Najee than 58.5 rushing yards.
I like your pick better than I like his pick.
We're not really good at
Nobody-
sticking to our vocabulary.
Nobody liked
No,
my
we're
pick
not.
last week, and it was the biggest lock of all time.
Hitting the first.
It was the
half.
biggest free daily fantasy sports pick'em entry of all time.
It's tough though
Not as
because
free
that
as-
Dallas defense has been like an all-time great defense
Well,
at
you think
home.
if you think about it like this,
At home,
what are we expecting to happen? The Cowboys to beat the dog shit out of the Packers. What does that mean? The Packers gonna be losing all game. They gonna throw the ball.
Doesn't mean they're gonna throw
Yeah,
it into
you're
the
not-
end zone.
Your pick was not.
What is his?
Your
What is his attempts?
it wasn't you didn't
Line.
pick attempts. You took
What is his attempts? line?
touchdowns.
Probably like 26.
If they get beat,
No,
if
if
they
it's,
get beat,
lower than 30, that should be a.
if
Let's
if
see.
they get beat 35-10, he could throw for lower than 1.5 passing TDs.
It is.
Is it lower?
They do not have one.
I bet you it was 26.
They have a
25.
completions. They have a
Nah,
What are the
I
completions?
don't like.
21.
22 and a half.
That's
Give me the TDs. It's gonna happen.
okay.
All right.
All right.
What about Mason Rudolph? 3.5 rushing yards.
Joe
hate-
Flacco's rushing yards is 0.5.
I hate those lines, dude, because you'll sweat it all game.
Just move forward. Just go forward a yard.
You've got a hole. Take the 2 yards, and it's
No,
just
Joe
like,
Flacco would die if he got hit by.
if he got hit by somebody, he's dead.
If
he-
Quan Alexander meets Joe Flacco in the hole, he's gonna die.
He's dead. He's dead. He's dead.
He's
All
dead.
right. That is gonna wrap up
What
a
a
very
rambunctious episode.
very that was chaotic.
Yeah, it was.
There was no
Sorry, Nana. I feel bad.
go get your Nana's keys, bro. You did,
Told you, man. You
Oh,
think-
that reminded me of what I got to tell y'all. Do not let me forget.
Okay.
I think it's
Okay.
pretty funny.
All right.
well, that is gonna do it for the boys here. Another episode of From the Stands. Check out this episode tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, and check out the pick'em this week because we're
That's
gonna get
Picking the
into
NFL playoffs.
all 6 of the NFL playoff games, and
Do it.
it's gonna get crazy.
It's gonna get crunkety.
So that is coming up next. I'm trying to find a new place to consistently post it. It's either going to be Thursday nights or it's going to be Friday mornings. Just kind of be on the lookout. We appreciate you guys. If you stuck through this chaotic, just all over the place episode,
I thought it was pretty entertaining.
thank you.
I did as well.
I think I had a good time with it, and that's all that matters. So we will see you guys next week. Drop a like, drop a comment, smash the sub button. Yes, you heard that right. Smash it. We'll see you next
Lord.
week. Peace.